My name is Mike Sullivan. I'm a former IRS agent and teaching instructor with the IRS. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Just really quick, I'm a national expert in IRS resolution matters. I've been doing this a long time. I sat on an IRS desk when I was 20 out of college. I worked 10 years, worked narcotic trafficking, worked all sorts of programs with IRS, non-filer, all that stuff. I've been in private practice for a long time. Next year will have completed my 50th year in IRS resolution, so I know enough. Anyway, enough about me. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I try to get behind the scenes and let you know what's kind of going on inside the IRS, kind of give you some insider information. And my videos are very short. I'm not a bag of wind. I like to get in and out of things. So I want to talk to you today about what you need to know about after you file a collection due process, a form 12153, what that appeals hearing is going to be like. Generally, a person who files a collection due process hearing has gone through all the letters with IRS. Your initial bill, your 501, your 502, your 504, and now your 1058, and you've asked IRS to go ahead and you want to appeal something on there. You may want to appeal the liability. You may want to appeal penalties and interest. You may want to ask for a payment agreement. You may want to be put in uncollectible. You may want to file an offer and compromise. There's many aspects of this. Many times before the case gets to the Office of Appeals, you can close the case by calling IRS. The people who opt and file the collection due process have kind of done themselves a favor, because you're not calling a 1-800 number. When you call the 1-800 number, if you don't close your case on the first call, you got to start the case all over again. The nice thing about the collection due process is you have the same person working your case. So what's that like? Know many people who worked in that division. So what you do is, if you're an agent, you simply are looking at the case, you're pulling up the history, you're looking at the notes that are in the file, and you have to resolve that case. So at the end of the day, your job is to close the case off the system of Internal Revenue Service. So many of the people may want to just say, hey, the liability is not right. So they may say, hey, well, file an audit consideration. Why can't you pay the bill? That's the question they have to answer. Also, they have to close the case. That's what they're going to address. What you need to do, and the most important thing you need to do, is you have to have a plan of action. If you're calling that person, you got to be able to tell them in writing with a conversation that they can is audible and they can understand what you're trying to do, and you must have documentation ready to send them. You just can't say, well, I'm appealing, I don't know really what to do. If a case is that you don't owe the tax, you've got to present to them why you don't owe the information. You've got to have a very clear case, and you're going to send them that information. If you don't owe the tax, you've got to say, here's the information, here's why. That person has the ability to change the outcome of your case. A lot of CAF requests go because you can't pay the money. You can't pay the money. What are they going to want? They're going to want a financial statement, maybe a 433-F, maybe a 433-A. You better know how they are going to look at that financial statement and what the outcome of the case is. That person who's looking at your case is going to look at your financial statement the same way a revenue officer would, and the same way the service center would. They're going to want your case documented into bank statements, wages. They want to know what your income, your expenses are. And before you go into the hardship payment agreement or offer and compromise program, you must understand there's a national standards that IRS allows for certain expenses. IRS will lock you into food and clothing, housing and utilities, car payment and operational cost, and public transportation. They are going to tell you what they are going to be allowed to give you. You just look up IRS national standards and look at transportation, food and clothing, housing and utilities, and they're going to give you an idea of what they're going to allow. If you do not understand that, you are going to have a bad day when IRS is finished with you. On small cases and hardship cases, just call yourself. You do not need anybody. If you're just breaking even, just living up to your means and income and expenses, ain't nothing wrong. If you're making any sizable money, you better be really careful, and you've got to get a tax professional, really us, whoever you want, to walk you through this. These standards are tough, they're rigid, they're set up by the Department of Labor, and they're not going to be easy on you as far as your expenses. One other thing to make sure of. The other thing you want to make sure is make sure all your tax returns are filed and you're current in the year you're in with withholding or estimate payments. Also know that these appeals are very informal. You're going to get a very experienced person who's worked thousands of these cases. They're going to be looking at the case closely. They're not going to accept any bullshit, but you have to understand the process. If you want to have success on larger cases, you need to use somebody who's had a lot of experience in this. But like I said, if you have nothing to lose, go ahead and call them yourself. By the way, I would love for you to leave me a subscription. That helps me, and you can use a like or comment, whatever. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you.